Alright, welcome back to Batman. Let's go through these codex entries. This is going to be a lot of reading up front, but I think it's probably worthwhile, especially... I feel like we should actually have gotten some of this information before we got these set of scenes, if they actually want us to know these things. This is probably going to be relevant information. If you're a reasonably seasoned Batman lore person, you'll know most of these people already, I feel like, but and presumably most of the people who'd be playing this game already do know a good chunk of those things, but it would be very weird. I don't know, part of me almost wants to see a framing of Batman that is completely without context. If you've been on this channel for a while, you've heard me talk about how media should stand on its own, shouldn't require prior knowledge in order for it to be good. So I actually feel like the first, those first couple of scenes did a pretty good job of introducing things without having an expectation of knowledge. Anyway, let's get through these. Thomas and Martha Wayne, deceased, founders of Wayne Enterprises. My parents. Dad was a physician, Mom was a philanthropist. They worked tirelessly to help the less fortunate, setting up numerous charities and expending their vast resources to improve the city and its citizens. Murdered in an attempted robbery by a man known as Joe Chill, deceased. Oh, I think there were arrows, weren't there? Alfred Pennyworth, Wayne family butler. Faithful, patient, ever helpful Alfred. He's been a part of the family my whole life. He raised me when my parents were murdered, and guided me when I thought I was lost. He's my butler, my confidant, Oxford, use it properly, and the most secret weapon in my arsenal. He complains frequently about my nightly activities, but he's still there to patch me up when I need him. Harvey Dent, Gotham City District Attorney, mayoral candidate. A new friend. Interesting, so they don't really know each other. Also, and the best district attorney Gotham has seen in years. His political ambitions have always been as big as his ego, and now he's hoping to become mayor. He's got so many great ideas for how to save this city. I think he'll be good for Gotham, but I have to steer him down the right path to get there. He's too easily swayed by anyone with power, regardless of their murky morality. Hamilton Hill, mayor of Gotham City. Exhibit A in What's Wrong with This City. Hill should have been thrown out of office years ago, but he's got his hands wrapped around Gotham's government in a death grip. He's been suspected of numerous crimes, but there's never been enough to make any of it stick. He's rotten to the core, and one day the city will realize it. Harvey's out there doing his best, and hopefully this upcoming election will be the end of Hill's corrupt administration. Cat Burglar. So she doesn't even have a name here. So this is, Catwoman, aka, I believe in this setting, Selina Kyle. But I could be wrong about that. Crimes, burglary, petty larceny. I don't think it would be petty larceny for even the things we've seen her do. The barrier for grand larceny, I think, is like $1,000 or $2,000. It's not a lot. New criminal on the scene tied to several recent break-ins. She's effective, and doesn't leave many clues behind. Currently, the GCPD has no leads. I wish I knew more about her. Oswald Cobblepot, aka Penguin. See, why are we getting introduced to him already? We haven't even seen him. Crimes, arms dealing, illegal boxing matches, receiving stolen property. He was a childhood friend, but he's almost a stranger to me now. That's interesting. I don't think in most of the narratives, I think there are certainly narratives where they know each other. I don't think I've seen any in a while where that's the case. Although he's not one of the more popular villains. He's a little bit too silly. I think the last iteration of him, at least in any non-comics media, was Danny DeVito's version in the early 90s? Late 80s? I don't remember which one it was. He was a childhood friend, but he's almost a stranger to me now. Just like me, his family fell apart here in Gotham. He went off to boarding school in England, and there our paths diverged. He seems to have fallen into a life of crime. The last 2 decades gave him a lengthy rap sheet and a strange nickname. The Penguin? What happened to you, Oz? James Gordon. Lieutenant, GCPD Major Crimes Unit Associates... Major Crimes Unit Associates Barbara Gordon, daughter. Okay. Which version of Barbara are we getting? That'll be interesting. He's a good by-the-book cop in a department that doesn't trust Batman. He was recently tapped to lead the Major Crimes Task Force. An impressive promotion, so he's doing something right. I think he could be trustworthy and a reliable source of info, but I'll need to cultivate that relationship. He's a family man, so he's not willing to take necessary risks on the street. That's fine, I'll take the risks. That's I don't really like that. I don't like that maybe that's just awkward writing, but he's a family man, so he's not willing to take necessary risks on the street. Okay, 2 things. In the one scene we saw him in, he's actively chasing people and almost getting blown up or shot, so disagree right off the bat. Also, that's very awkward because not willing to take unnecessary risks would be more in tune. He's not willing to be, you know, brash or something like that. But not willing to take necessary risks, definitely not true on multiple levels. Vicky Vale, investigative journalist, Gotham Gazette. One of the Gazette's most ambitious and competent reporters. I've read her stuff. Some of it can be a bit tabloid, but her passion for the truth is undeniable. She's been with the paper for a while, covered all kinds of beats. Someone like that has the kind of access others would kill for. She might even hear more about what's going on in Gotham than I do. One day, I may need to find out what she knows. I did not like the exchange I had with her. I thought that not saying anything would cause her maybe to press me further, but it looked like it just skipped a whole scene for me. So maybe not picking an option is not a good idea. In general, in Telltale games, that's usually a good choice. Like you can still get very meaningful conversations from not saying something. So, you know, I was hopeful, but we'll see. Carmine Falcone, Skyline Club owner, head of Falcone crime family. The worst kind of gangster, one who tries to mingle with high society. He seems to have his hands in everything, including smuggling, real estate, bribery, and fraud. Again, missing an Oxford comma. I could haul him to jail, but he'd walk the next day. I could shut down the one operation, but 2 would pop up in its place. His empire is vast and multi-layered. Finding hard admissible evidence is required for a conviction. Gotham City, population 10 million. This city is like a living creature. It's always growing outward and upward. The people who live here are survivors. They have to be. And they deserve better than the corruption that infests this place. Arkham Asylum, established November 1921. I'm actually surprised it's only that old. Gotham City's only maximum security psychiatric hospital, for now. Outdated in every way. Building is falling apart, equipment is antiquated, and the staff's methodology leaves much to be desired. When the Thomas and Martha Wayne Memorial Hospital opens, these patients will finally get the treatment they need. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the Thomas and Martha Wayne Memorial Hospital explodes, burns down, or is taken over before it ever opens. Just a hunch. Wayne Enterprises, established 1870. Multinational corporation founded by my ancestors, covering all manner of manufacturing and finance. I inherited a majority stake from my father, but I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations. However, the R&D resources have been helpful in pursuing my private interests. I guess that's it. Alright, interesting. Some good upfront information. Can't interact with this box, huh? That's the thing, like... wait, these are... Oh. I don't like this interface very much. It's, I wish the camera wasn't moving. there's really no reason to do that, but... Is there anything here at all? I miss...
That computer should be able to read whatever data is on that stolen drive.
I know that we're talking about a fictional piece of technology that presumably just does this on its own, but don't ever stick mysterious data storage devices into any computer you care about, and certainly not one that's connected to the internet. Yeah, that's a really, really easy way to get all of your shit stolen and hacked. It would be very funny, however, if I was exactly right and she swapped the drives or something in her pack and I got the wrong one and she hacked me immediately. Did you really need an elaborate trapdoor system to give you your chair? Also, why does it have a sine wave on it?
Encrypted.
Yeah, no shit.
Wayne Manor has 7 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, a library, a gymnasium, a basketball court, and a movie theater. And yet I always find you here.
That's actually surprisingly small.
In a dark, damp cave. In front of a computer.
Yeah, well, this is the only room that really matters.
Well, then you won't mind if I skip cleaning the rest. The dusting is murder. Did you find out what that, cat woman tried to steal?
In the process.
What are we looking at?
Let me try a different angle.
Different angle? What does this happen? What does this have to do with the drive? What are we doing? What am I don't know what my objective is here. Also, this is very slow to spin.
This is a map of the east side shoreline.
Is this what was on the drive?
A number of things.
The thing said it was decrypting. Look, it says 0%.
Maybe it's where Mayor
Is this unrelated?
Dry cleaning.
Can't make sense of it yet. There's still plenty of files to decrypt.
Okay, all that needed was just a line that said, "Oh, we've got a couple of files. Let's look at those first."
Thanks, Al.
Yeah, the same couldn't be said for the bar. I had to literally pry Mrs. Zellerback away. But you'll be pleased to hear everyone has left, including Mr. Falcone. I would have been tempted to be far less polite. I'd recommend leaving the fistfights to your alter ego. Bloodstains are much harder to remove from a tuxedo.
Yeah, thanks for the interruption.
And it wasn't for you, Bruce. I was worried I might drink all my good scotch. For the record, your father despised men like Falcone, thought they ruined Gotham's stellar reputation.
Back when it still had one?
It can again, Bruce. Though people like this Catwoman aren't helping.
That's a horrible
She
picture.
needs
Never seen her before. Hopefully, she's just a tourist. No, I already checked.
She seemed
the codex.
overly prepared
Not much to find, apparently.
to be a tourist.
Burglaries, break-ins. Seems to lay pretty low.
You could learn a thing or two from her.
I don't know if it actually changed that line because I bothered to look her up. I bothered to read her entry
As
before.
Bruce or Batman.
I stay out of sight when I need to.
Define need to.
Whenever Harvey calls. The guy's exhausting.
After his press conference tomorrow, I'll mark your calendar as exhausted then. The media isn't good for anyone's health. I don't mean to beat a dead argument, but...
No one's gonna figure it out, Al. Trust me.
Miss Vale noticed your injuries, so did Mr. Dent. If they put it together with the incident at the mayor's office, it would undo all the long nights and close calls we've endured to get here. You're in the spotlight more than ever. You have to be careful.
You're right, you're right.
I should be polite to
Should've
Alfred.
canceled the event.
I know how much pressure you're under. I don't mean to add to it.
It's okay. I know you're only looking out for me.
If we make a suit that fits me, we can trade places some night. Though I'm not partial to heights. Old men worry, that's all. It's our gift and our curse. One more worry for the list.
Park, 6 a.m. Oz.
20 years? Last time I saw him, we were in grade school.
Indeed, you two were thick as thieves. Oswald, however, took that role more literally than you.
So this is why we got that thing
boxing
before,
matches,
I guess.
Arms dealing, prison stints.
That's a criminal grand slam, if I'm using the expression correctly.
Unfortunately, you are.
Oswald claimed he only wanted to catch up, but his behavior following his family's collapse is troubling. Why he's returning now, I haven't the faintest idea.
Yeah, why
He just
not?
wants to reconnect. Criminal.
Oh, that's
record
different.
lies.
That's not what I
Old
said.
friend.
A lot can change over the years. If I remember correctly,
That's very different from
Oswald
I
was
can give
fond
him a
of the old
chance.
Firecrackers in the toilet trick. I worry what he's graduated to. Even though you and young Master Cobblepot used to be close, I'd advise you to be cautious. But I know you can't abandon a good mystery until it's solved.
I'll be careful, Alfred.
When you see what's become of his park, I think you will.
Okay, are we getting a proper pause here? Okay. This game is very flowy, so I have to find my breaks in it. Okay. We'll get to that scene next time.